What is up, everybody? Don't look now, but we are back. That's right, back for another live. All your applause, really unnecessary. It's good to be back live. This is the first live for the baseball channel since I don't know September. I probably even before I hate to say it, but August because in September. Yeah, I know the baseball pennant race is still going, but football season has started, so fortunately, got to shift some priorities there. We still did videos, but it's good to get back not only live for baseball, but drafting because for me, my favorite part of any fantasy season is draft season because everybody is potentially a contender and every pick you make is right until the season starts. So, but look, I just love drafting, assembling the team, right? Trying to put your research into work. I mean, all that. This is the best part. So, here we go. Thank you, Anthony. What is up? Of course, all the loyal Endgame viewers. I'm glad y'all are here. And of course, the most loyal viewer of all. Hi, Mom. Love you. Thank you for watching. But let's get to it. It's underdog draft time. So it's a little early for me. I mean, I think it should be for everyone to actually draft any team that's not a best ball or draft and hold team because there's still spring training to go, and we actually need to start spring training. The World Baseball Classic's getting underway. There's still a lot of time, but this is the best time for me, I think personally, to draft a best ball team because you can take advantage of some values, some sleepers that people don't know about yet. So let's do it. And obviously, if you're an underdog, you can win some money here. Needless to say, we're still partnered with Underdog, and so keep in mind, anybody watching this live or watching it back later, if you haven't tried Underdog, it's a perfect time to do so because use code Endgame. You sign up for an account there, you get a free pick, and you can get a ton of bonus cash, however much you deposit up to $1,000. They'll match it for half. Bonus cash, bonus picks, always promos, gimmies. Every day there's something new, so check it out. It's a good place to get a little bit of an edge too for fantasy baseball because it's just a unique, a little different format. Let's put it that way. Every baseball platform is a little different, which is one thing, which honestly I think is part of the reason why maybe fantasy baseball hasn't caught on as much as fantasy football. Football is huge these days. Baseball is a little more niche. It's also because it's a longer season and there's more complicated and there's more stats. If you don't really get into it, if you're not a stat nerd like I am, then I get it. It's not as accessible to like casual players. I understand all that. But if you're even just somewhat into baseball, I think it's a good place to get an edge. So let's just start. By the way, I'm talking and let's get in the lobby here. What I'm going to do in Underdog, got a couple of options here. The Dinger is the main one that they have, up to $200,000 for first place, or you can just spend $5 and enter the base hit. Let's do that. It's a 5-entry max. They are close to full, so I want to get in on that. Any y'all want to join in here? You got time? Let's do it. 30 seconds per pick, $5. Let's go. So jump in the lobby and see if anybody else gets in. There's room for one person, so hopefully somebody gets in here, which is nice that it's almost going to fill. I don't have to sit around and wait too long to get drafting. There we go. All right, so we do have a minute until the draft actually starts, and I will show the draft board, but let me explain, anybody watching who isn't possibly familiar. So for this one, and it's actually similar to the other one, that the format's pretty much the same for all of them. It's just the entry fee and the prize payout. That's really the only difference. It looks like I got the third pick, so I don't have too much time to talk. I see a familiar name there at the 8th. All right. So real quick, the rules here. Again, $5 to get in. It's best ball. You draft, and that is it. The rest of the entire season, you do nothing except for watch the points pile up. It is a tournament, so by the end of the year, you're going to have, the 4 rounds to try to advance, survive, and advance. But again, you don't do anything. You already drafted your teams. 20 rounds here. It's a 12-team league. And the winner of the tournament is going to get $5,000, which is not bad considering you only spend $5. But there's a good chance to even just get your money back if you're in the top 750. So yeah, low threshold to enter, and it's why there's also a 5-entry max. So the unique thing here is the points. So reminder that for pitching, you really can completely ignore relievers, not only because saves. It's not a rotisserie solely with categories and stuff, but besides that, you get nothing for saves. You get 5 points for wins. You get 5 points for quality starts also, and 3 points per innings pitched, 3 points for a strikeout, -3 for earned runs. So those aces are super valuable. That said, you're not going to see any pitchers go off in the first round here, and I'll tell you why in a second. All right, my pick, Ohtani, Judge. I know I've been talking about Acuna. I'm sorry. I'm going to go boring with Juan Soto. There's nothing wrong with Soto here. So you're going to see all the outfielders fly off the board here in the first round. I'm in a slow draft right now. We're just not even through the first round. The first 7 picks have all been outfielders, and there's a reason why. So let me explain why. Yes, Anthony is in. Very nice. Yeah, the base hit does have a limit too as well. I think most of them usually have limits. So real quick, while the draft goes on, hitting. By the way, roster, you need 3 pitchers, 3 infielders, 3 outfielders. That's important. 3 infielders total. No second base, third base. No, 3 infielders and 3 outfielders. So that's one more reason to prioritize outfielder, but also look, singles, home runs are worth 10. Think about that. A home run is worth like a win and a quality start put together. Your slugger is going to be worth more. Stolen base is worth 4. So very different from like in your typical category league where like home runs and stolen bases, they each are a category. They're weighted equally. I understand the whole thing. Well, a home run is also an RBI to run. Yeah, but still, it's its own category. You're going to prioritize power over speed. Speedsters, are still valuable, but you want those power hitters. So power hitters are more important here than average or speed guys, and also outfielders are going to be more valuable than infielders. Pitchers, like your frontline pitchers, are still going to get you a ton of points, but again, you don't need a whole rotation plus relievers. You only need 3. So that's why pitching is a little bit deeper. So if you're not getting an ace early, it's like you might as well wait. So we have interesting Corbin Carroll still going in the first round despite that hamate bone injury. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that pays off. So I got to wait here, unfortunately. Also, a weird thing, by the way. I don't know why. I'm going to have to figure out. Rafael Devers qualifies as an outfielder. I have no idea why. I figure that's got to be a mistake of some sort because he's never been an outfielder and he's not going to be an outfielder. So I have no idea why that's the case. But it's weird. I don't know. Like I guess it's another outfielder to the pool, which doesn't seem right. All right, let me throw up the draft board here just because I think it'll be easier to follow along. All right, let's see here. Let me move this along. He's saying DH is outfield. Yep, that's the thing is Devers he's not a DH, like a DH only. Like a guy like Jordan Alvarez, like he doesn't really play outfield, right? He's just a DH. But Devers is a first baseman now. He was a third baseman. Now he's a first baseman. Like he's not an outfielder. So he shouldn't, and I don't think he's going to be strictly a DH. I don't think anyone is projecting him to just DH. So I don't know. That's weird. Hi, Andrea. What's up? Good to see you too. All right, let me just make sure I don't miss my pick before I mess around with the screen here. I've been known to do that. All right, I'm going to share the draft board. There we go. And I'll make myself smaller in a little bit. Yeah, again, I get Alvarez being an outfielder because there is no DH spot here. And I'm glad what's nice that they don't do, and some formats do, is they can put just utility. Like you have to occupy your utility, your extra spot here. It's nice that they don't do that, but it's just he should be an infielder. All right, so Kurtz is the highest ADP pick. I feel like I know the power hitter is important. I'm going to go with the ace here. I'm going to go with the ace, even though the lack of wins might be a concern for schemes. I'm going to go with the ace, and then I'll get one of these power hitters on the way back. Like, I don't mind taking one of those pitchers early. And I feel like there's definitely, after you go Screwball, Skeens, Crochet, there's a drop off. So I don't mind taking one of these guys early and then really waiting on pitching. And again, you guys know I love me some Nick Kurtz. I was all over him before he broke out last year, and I picked him up everywhere I could last year in the Great Fantasy Baseball Invitational. I dumped like a third of my fab on him, and it was totally worth it. I don't know if I can take him top 20. I just don't think you should need to. I mean, honestly, what I'm going to do right here, depending on what these two guys do, is I'm going to get someone who is pretty much the equivalent to him, but several picks later. But let's see. And then I don't also want to force outfield. Okay, well, I was going to take Pete Alonso. Well, there goes Pete Alonso. Don't need a second pitcher here. Man, I really wanted Pete Alonso there. It's either Matt Olson or just go Cal Raleigh again. I'm okay with Raleigh. I know he doesn't give you that edge as being a catcher, but I mean, just a solid source of power. That's fine. I mean, I was going to go Pete Alonso there. I feel like Pete Alonso, Nick Kurtz is going to be comparable, and Kurtz is going much sooner. But anyway. The MLB script is going to have the Pirates relevant. All right, let's bring it on. Bring on the conspiracy theories. I love it. Look, the Pirates might be sort of relevant because they've actually done some things this offseason. Not big things, not great things, but they got veterans, which they haven't had in a long time. And I don't just mean Andrew McCutchen, who's just there just to, try to sell some tickets. But they got Marcelo Zuna. I think if he's healthy, he still can hit. They got Brandon Lowe. They got Ryan O'Hearn. Not exciting names, but they got some left-handed power. Got Ozuna from the right side. They actually have some veteran presence. I mean, the Pirates might not be as horrible this year. And they do have good young pitching. I mean, besides Skeens, if Jared Jones comes back mid-season, I like Hunter Barco a lot, Braxton Ashcraft. I mean, they're young, but they're really talented. So they could have a good rotation too. Who knows? I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but they could be, what would you say, relevant? They could be relevant. Yeah, they could be relevant. So who knows? We will see. All right. What's up, John? John Wickering in the house. How's it going? The Reds going to be on fire. Yeah, the Reds, they're an interesting team. They definitely could be relevant. I mean, of course, last year, playoff team, but I mean, they have a ton of talent, young talent pitching wise too. I mean, Chase Burns could break out. Link Lodolo, Hunter Green could be a Cy Young candidate. They have a really good young rotation. Andrew Abbott, seems to always overachieve, but he gets the job done. And then on offense, it's been inconsistent, but they do have talent there too. Sal Stewart is a guy that definitely is a popular breakout pick. I'm behind that too. I mean, besides Ellie, of course. They've got some thump. They could definitely make some noise too. So I agree. The Reds are an interesting team to watch, not just for their offense. And then, all right, let's go for it. Pirates make the playoffs. Look, the Marlins a couple years ago made the playoffs. Anyone can do it. Don't need to actually spend money on players to be a playoff team. So why not? Yeah, agree. It might not be good for those players fantasy wise, like Low, but it'd be good for the Pirates at least. So what kind of draft is this? Glad you asked, Evilzilla. It is a best ball draft on Underdog. So this is going to be just set and forget. All right, you draft your team and you walk away. You don't have to do anything. $5. That's all I spent. $5 to get in here, and a chance to win a few $1,000s, or at least something if you advance in the tournament. Worst case, if you don't even have to win necessarily out, you just make the tournament at the end of the season, you get your money back. So yeah, surprised Junior Caminero dropped this far. 38. He's not an outfielder, but still. So yeah, quick reminder, if you haven't seen this before, if you haven't tried best ball and Underdog, I mean, it's a good time to do it because got a lot of season left to draft, and I always say this is a good time to take advantage of some of those values. All right, Brian, asking the tough questions. Who is this year's Christopher Sanchez? Now, by that, some might take that as like kind of a like unknown pitcher. I mean, if you're into the baseball, Chris Sanchez was already a kind of up and coming pitcher. He was a solid rotation piece, just didn't break out, like completely break out. Um, so, in that vein, if I take a player, if I'm looking at a pitcher who's like already good, right, decent, maybe has more, right, more left to offer that we haven't seen yet, could become an ace. And really, he was the ace of that staff. I mean, he was kind of an afterthought because you got Aaron Nola and you got Zach Wheeler. Well, those guys were all hurt last year and didn't do much. Hold on, it's my turn. Talk too much. Okay, so I got one of each position. Again, I'm not going to force outfield here because nobody's jumping out at me. But Ketel Marte, Yamamoto, Springer. I think I can wait on infield because I got several good options. I will take Springer. Okay, let me just make sure I don't miss my next pick. When I know I'm 4 picks away, I'm happy. Like, there's not a big difference here. If I don't get, there's Bryce Harper, Marte, I got Machado and Jazz at infield. I'm happy with any of them. Don't love guys like Ian Happ. Very risky to take a guy like Nimmo or Buxton here. Buxton has upside, but of course Buxton can miss a lot of time, and I don't like that in best ball because I can't just pick somebody off waivers, So if you're asking who could be like this year's Chris Sanchez, I think Hunter Green, a guy I already mentioned, that's not unreasonable. I think a guy who's been good, but also hasn't ever been an ace, mainly for him because he's missed time on the injured list. But I think it's safe to say he could become that. Everybody loves Kyle Bradish. I know. I like him too. There's no reason not to. I don't know if I'm going to go that far with him. Let's see. Well, nobody took Marte or Machado, Marte. I think because of ADP, and since this is a tournament, we try to get the advantage here. Maybe he does get traded to a better team. Who knows? Let's go Marte. All right. I mean, look, I don't think he'll throw nearly enough innings because Chris Sanchez, if I remember, he was one of a couple of pitchers who actually got to like 200 innings. Like, Yuri Perez is my boy. He's not going to throw that many innings, so I don't know if I could call him this year's Chris Sanchez. I think he could definitely break out. I like Ryan Pepio. I talked about him in a recent video, the Future Aces, and just came out. I think Pepio, maybe not quite as effective as Chris Sanchez, but I think he can be close. He's one of my favorite picks too. So those are a couple of guys I like. Still relatively young pitchers with some experience that could become dominant. All right. Yeah, agree. PCA over Kurtz. It's interesting, but again, let me get to the draft board, by the way. I'm going to scroll this down. This format, well, PCA and Kurtz went back to back. Kurtz is going to go earlier in most drafts because, again, the outfielders are flying off the board earlier because of this format, as I mentioned. The outfielders, they're just not as, I mean, there's going to be more options at infield, and so therefore the outfielders who are at the top are going to be more valuable. The infield is just so much deeper because you only need 3. You don't need to fill each position. You just need infielders. So you have a lot more choices there. And the best fantasy studs are usually outfielders anyways. So Pete Crow Armstrong probably should be drafted more than or higher than Kurtz in this format. Same thing with a guy like James Wood. All right, let's scroll down a little bit. So we're saying Nimmo is on the do not draft list. Why for Nimmo? I mean, I know he's moving out of the Mets, but it's not going to a much worse situation as far as Park. Rangers aren't exciting, but still. He wasn't great last year, wasn't his best season, but I feel like he's still young enough he can kind of bounce back. I mean, I think he kind of is what he is at this point. Good, not amazing for fantasy. So I'm curious why you're just avoiding him. Yeah, with Kurtz, it feels kind of lazy to just say, oh, sophomore slump, like because his rookie year's over, he's just going to slump. What I always look at is numbers, and what you can worry about is regression because of performance versus expected performance. Again, it doesn't always happen, but when a guy's, actual slugging is much higher than his expected slugging, just normal regression. And, you also, I think sophomore slump is a little misleading. It implies that, oh, shoot, I'm on the clock. See, this will always happen. Start talking, and then I'm going to take Dylan Cease. I'm fine with Gilbert there, but I just like Cease. Strikeout numbers better. All right, hold on. Let me make my next pick before I start talking about Nick Kurtz again. Wow, man, these people are drafting fast. Okay, I'm going to take my boy here to get another high-end outfielder. It's Kyle Stowers. The thing is, the thing with Kurtz or any rookie, right? Rookie shows up huge all of a sudden. It's not that the next year they just suddenly aren't as good because reasons, right? They're just like, oh, I got over that. No, it's because pitchers now realize like this guy's legit. We got to take him seriously because there's so many rookies that come out there, and let's face it, whether they're a high-end prospect, low-end prospect, doesn't matter. When you get to the majors, you're facing major league pitching. Major league pitchers, they view a rookie differently than a guy they've seen before, right? There's plenty of high-end rookie prospects that do nothing. And so I really think that just, pitchers are going to be tougher on them. They're going to have to be more careful around them. And there's more pressure on them, of course, getting a prominent spot in the lineup and all that. So I think that's some of it too. I think Kurtz can handle it, but are we going to expect 44 home runs this year? No, I really expect it to be more like high 30s. I think that's reasonable and that's realistic, and that's still really good. But I don't think he should be a first rounder. Like, it's just not necessary. But the thing is, it's all relative. I mean, you could draft somebody else one pick ahead of him, and that guy turns out to get injured or be a bust, and like, oh, I wish I would have had Kurtz. So. All right, the forearms, you're buying on the forearms. Okay, well, there you go. I mean, look, I love me some Nick Kurtz. I told you I was all over him before he got the call. After he got the call, I picked him up everywhere I could. I think I even traded for him in the Endgame League, if I remember. But again, it's all about realistic expectations, and that's all it is. Like maybe he might be the best power hitter since Mark McGwire. I mean, we'll see what he does this year. We'll see. I just think that if it's possible, I think it's very possible that you get about the same production from Pete Alonso as you're going to get from Nick Kurtz, and you can get Alonso like a full round later. Like, why wouldn't you do that? That's always the way I think. All right, sorry, get this out. Oh, thank you. Like the Marte pick. Yeah, Marte's look, I kind of hope he does get traded because I don't know, that Diamondbacks lineup, even just I'm not worried that Corbin Carroll is not going to play. Like he'll be back and then he'll play. His power might be diminished, but I don't think that affects his overall value that much. But just the whole lineup overall, Perdomo is probably going to regress. Suarez not there anymore. It's not a great lineup, honestly, if you look at it from top to bottom. So if Marte does get traded, which I don't think he will, but if he does, that's almost an offense I want to avoid. All right, my turn now. Let's see. So I got 2 pitchers, 2 infielders, 3 outfielders. I never want to force a position. I don't love the outfielders on the board, except for either I take a swing at Cags here and hope for the upside, or I take one of these really good pitchers. Well, you know what I'm going to do? It's best ball as a tournament. We have to swing for the fences. So I'll take a guy that only swings for the fences. One of my favorites this year, Jack Caglione. And look, I'm still going to get a really good pitcher on the way back. So I can go with Fat Framber, go with Kirby, or Brad. I think it was Kirby. Like I only say that. I'll go Bradish again. Why not? Why not go for it in a format like this? It's best ball. We need studs. We don't need good. We need great. There's a report that Framber, while sitting and waiting for his contract to get signed, that he gained some weight, looked a little chunky out there throwing for Detroit. I don't know if that matters too much for a pitcher, as long as he can still throw hard, and as long as he stays healthy. Not avoiding Framber, but just thought that was interesting. Yeah, Framber's in a good situation. I mean, being in Detroit, it's a good team, and it's a pretty good ballpark overall. So, yeah, again, as long as he didn't get like way out of shape this offseason or doesn't get hurt, he should be just as good as always. Yeah, this is a fast draft. You're exactly right. I feel like it's turning around quickly. And I feel like maybe I could let me see. I'm gonna make myself a little smaller so you can see more of the draft board. How about that? Let's do that now. That's okay, maybe not postage stamp size, but let's see. Nope, too small. Still too small. All right, postage stamp it is. You already know what I look like. Let's see the draft board. There we go. All right, second round on, you can pretty much see what's going on here. For what it's worth, you can probably tell my highlight. I'm the third pick here. So right now I am looking at 3 pitchers, 2 infielders, 4 outfielders. And so we've got almost a full starting lineup. I just need one more infielder, but again, I'm going to go for a value here. Not going to force any position. Infield is still pretty deep. I mean, got guys right here that are available to me that could go for 30-plus homers. Langoliers, Torkelson. Oh, but here's Yuri Perez. There's Yuri Perez. Might have to take him. And Chase Burns. Yeah, I'm going to take one of these stud pitchers here for sure. And then I can go infield. Wow. Okay. Yeah, infield is deep, but not as top heavy in terms of talent for this format. Again, looking for power hitters. I mean, there's definitely less. Oh, interesting. Wow. Someone really reached on Dalen Lyle, who might steal a lot of bases, but that's not as important in this format. All right. There goes Langoliers. Okay. I got to take my boy. Here's Yuri Perez on the squad. I understand the wins thing, but I don't care. Chase Burns probably would have been a better pick. Oh, well. Got to have some Yuri. Honestly, if Torkelson gets taken, I might just go Chase Burns. Just get that huge, massive upside of pitcher, and then just go back and start pounding infielders. There goes Burns. Okay. Torque is fine. Go Torkelson. And keep in mind here, batting average is not something you need to worry about. You don't lose points. In some points formats you do, right? You lose a point for a strikeout or double play or outs or whatever. In this specific format for pitchers, you'll lose a point. You lose 3 points for earned runs, right? But for hitters, there are no negatives. He could hit 200 and it doesn't hurt me, because if he's getting me 30-something home runs, that he's helping me. That offsets it. So you can take chances on sluggers more so in this format. It's more forgiving. Guys who hit for average but don't really have power and don't steal a ton of bases, they're almost worthless. Yeah, Okamoto. That's a good example. After you're talking about Okamoto for Toronto, love him in redraft. Love him in fantasy as a mid-round value pick. Not like it's a huge crazy breakout or anything, but not in this format because he has good but not amazing power. And again, I just finished saying batting average isn't going to help you that much. Like he'll be a decent, more like a floor player. Like he'll be a decent, like a late round pick here, but I'd rather take a chance on a guy who could suddenly hit 30 home runs. You know what I mean? So I mean, really, you almost have to just swing for the fences and best ball. Like just no point playing it safe. There's no point. Yeah. And exactly. Well, sorry, we were just saying infielder is much deeper than outfielder. So why settle for a guy like that? So yeah, I'm gonna go. I mean, even if it's a rookie, even if it's a lesser known guy who struggled last year. Like, look right up here, Jung Ho Lee. Like, I have no desire to take him in best ball. Just limited power. It's not like he's going to steal 40 bases. There you go. There you go. Marcelo Ozuna. Could he crank up 30 home runs again? Absolutely. If he's healthy, why not? Take a guy like that over Jung Ho Lee. Good move. Good move, Anthony. There's still, I mean, pitching is pretty deep too. You got to look at it. Guys with upside here. Again, best ball, you don't need them to be great every time. You just need them to put together good strings and starts. Some really good pitchers here. Cam Schlittler, even Sandy, as rough as he was sometimes, he put together a good end of the season. I'm going to go with my boy, Hunter Goodman. I'm glad he still is an infielder in this format. Just right now because I need infielder. Man, oh look. I mean, can I really pass on Ryan Pepio here at this point? I don't need a pitcher, but I don't really need anything. I'm at, let me see, 4-4-4. I can take whatever I want. Infield is still like deep enough. Well, let's do it. Pepio it is. All right. Of course I would take it. Hey, you watch the videos. You knew I was going to take Hunter Goodman. I can't not take Hunter Goodman. I'm going to talk him up. Yeah, Santander, I don't know why his ADP is still that high. That's probably just kind of left over from before, right? They just haven't updated it because more drafts need to happen before the ADP really drops. Somebody actually takes Santander. They maybe didn't hear the news, or maybe they're auto drafting. Don't know, but better them than me. All right, thank you. Andrea's on board, which, by the way, Andrea was a beast in the Endgame League all last year. Definitely top competition. Like, we didn't know if anybody was going to take her down last year. I think you got to the finals, right? Didn't you get to the finals and lost, I think, if I remember. But yeah, anytime we went up against her week to week, we're like, oh man, there we go. Not going to win this week. Yeah, by the way, another one right there, Schwellenbach. His ADP hasn't adjusted. I mean, it should be non-existent, right? There's no point drafting him, but he's still out there. So just y'all be careful. All right, now I got 5 pitchers. I really need to get back to offense. I can't help myself with these pitchers. My favorite sleepers here. Let's see. And there's still some pitchers I like, but okay, yeah, there's some really good pitchers still. All right, can't say who I'm looking at until Anthony drafts. All right, there's Anthony. Yeah, Sal Perez. I mean, I'm surprised. I know he's not an exciting name anymore, but guy still hits bombs. I don't know why he's being drafted this late. 30 homers last year. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Sal. I might take him. Like Manzardo, Sal Stewart. Yeah. Outfield now is really starting to dry up. And now you got guys who are fringe starters. It's not going to be much longer. In fact, probably 2 more rounds, and you're not really going to want any of those outfielders. Yeah, so I'm going to take. That's why I'm going to take. And hope Ramon Laureano keep it going this year. We'll see. Jordan Beck. I haven't heard anything specifically about Jordan Beck. I've been hearing about the other Rockies outfielders. I know Zach Aveen. A lot of people are betting him to make a comeback. It was a whole thing about he had just revealed he had a substance abuse problem, and he's getting clean, and he's putting on some weight, and he was their top prospect, and he kind of flopped. I mean, if he can come back strong and live up to the hype, he's going to claim a starting job. They got Jake McCarthy, who might be playing. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to take Sal. I'm just going to take Sal. Sal Perez, by the way. Sal Stewart will be next round. I haven't heard much about Jordan Beck. Right now, roster resource, which is, again, not completely 100% accurate. I mean, they're taking their best guess, just like y'all are, but they're probably the best source out there. They project him to be the starting left fielder and to hit cleanup. So I wouldn't worry about Jordan Beck too much. I think he's still worth drafting. All right, let's slide it down a little bit. What do I expect from Jordan Beck, though? If you're asking, I liked him. It's a lot of when I did the Hidden Gems video, which just came out last year, he was the one I put on the cover, and he was pretty good for a while and not consistent all season. But after he went down and came back up, he produced, right? Some power, some speed. I really feel like this Rockies team should be better. I know it's not possible to really be worse than last year. I get that. But really, I feel like last year was like everything went wrong, and we just had so many players in the lineup that were not ready for the majors, and then guys who were, like Tovar got hurt, and when he came back, he wasn't himself. Just wasn't really good most of the season. Brenton Doyle, who knows what happened with him? Still have no idea how he managed to be so bad. So just kind of everything, right, went wrong for the Rockies last year. So I feel like they will be better, and they got a little bit more stable now. There's still some question marks, right, like first base, but they have some talent. At least they're trying something different. I will grudgingly give them credit for at least not just sticking with the same exact thing. Like, they got rid of some players. They're trying new guys out. They're still not a great franchise, but at least we'll see something different. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't mind Jordan Beck at all. Late picks with the Yankees SP. Well, I mean, if you're talking about, I don't know if you're referring to like Rodon and Garrett Cole, who aren't going to start the year on the roster, or if you're talking about guys like, Ryan Weathers, Luis Gill, or maybe both. Rodon, I think, is going to be a nice value pick, assuming he comes back healthy. Garrett Cole, there you go. Garrett Cole just got taken. Garrett Cole, I don't like to stash a guy who's going to be on my IL guaranteed for multiple months. We're not seeing him until June? But that's if everything goes fine. That's if there's no setbacks. This is a lot of ifs. So I just rather wouldn't hope and then have to occupy a spot in a guy I know I'm not going to see for more than a month. Ryan Weathers, I know he's going to be trendy because he's with the Yankees, but he's always been talented. He just can't stay healthy. So I'm fine taking Ryan Weathers wherever he goes. I mean, he's definitely worth the shot, the upside. Luis Gill, I'm not a believer. I think that rookie year was a little overachieving. Overachieving for sure. He's not the worst pitcher, but he's only a late round pick. He's only a back end rotation guy. That's what he is. All right, we are getting there. This is where I have to choose. Okay, that's my pick next. And outfield is beyond thin, so I can wait. Oh man, I had Addison Barger all queued up. Mm. I'm gonna take another pitcher here. I'm gonna bank on a healthy season from McClanahan, which we did not get last year. He's the guy I was high on, and it just didn't pan out. This is where one of my favorite picks, like I talk about Luke Keyshaw from Minnesota. I'm not taking him in this format because just not a power hitter, and he'll steal some bases, but not enough. So just not enough upside in best ball in this scoring system. I'd rather take a guy and his teammate like Matt Wallner I'm staring at might take that outfield because he could have a big power season. Let's take a swing on a guy like Jordan Walker. You know what I mean? So let's see what else we got here. Yeah, it's pretty thin here. It's getting pretty thin. All right. What else we got? Let's see. Steele. Justin Steele. Yeah, he's not supposed to be out too long. I think he'll be all right. Again, I'm okay stashing a player. I typically, drafting a pitcher who's already injured usually doesn't end well. If you know he's gonna come back for sure because it's not a major thing, don't expect a setback. Fine if it's short term, but generally speaking, I just let somebody else deal with it. I just don't want to be worrying and waiting and watching and seeing if he comes back healthy. If you know what I mean, it's not worth it. Yeah, this draft is flying along. Okay, let's see. Got 3 picks left. I'm at 6'6", 6 pitchers, 6 infielder, and 5 outfielders. So I do feel like I need more outfielders here. Not a lot of power hitters. I'm gonna take a power bat. Just am. Luis Robert? No, I think he was already taken. He's an interesting one. Yeah, Luis Robert got taken a while ago, unless you're thinking of somebody else. I don't know, but he's an interesting one. Could have a nice bounce back here. Still can't count on batting average, but he's also a guy I think prefer in Roto categories league because he'll help you specifically with homers and speed. Okay. Oh, there you go. All right. Someone sniped on Matt Wallner. Just like I expected. So let's take a shot on Jordan Walker. What could go wrong? Then my pick next soon. So just because you do want to take outfield relatively early, you don't have to have more outfielders at the end of the day than infielders. So infielders deeper. I'm not as sold on my infield, so I might wind up taking more. And then there's definitely injury risk with my pitchers. So I might wind up actually with fewer outfielders in this draft. Let's see. I know I'm not taking Luis Arias at all. Wow, Jorge Polanco feels like a great value here. I just realized he's out there. Now Polanco, could be tremendous value. All right. Well, just need one more player. I think I'm going to take a pitcher. Oh, wow. Weathers is all the way down there. Of course, there's injury risk with him. That's part of the reason why. Kodai Senga is another nice late round pick that could pay off huge. Again, the best ball. You don't need them to be out there the entire season. If he just gives you some good stretches as like your last pick pitching, that could be really nice. Yeah, Senga is an interesting name here. It's not always the young pitchers, the rookies or whatever. Sometimes it's those veterans that you kind of forget about or have that injury risk or whatever. Yeah, Polanco, I'm surprised. I thought he might be overdrafted now being in New York, right? But feels like it's going the other way now. Muncy, absolutely. You know what? That's a nice pick. Muncy this late in the draft, this format with the power. Again, these boring veterans, you're like, yeah, whatever. I produced a lot of those young players that don't do anything. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate you as always. Yeah, I'm gonna get Chris into one of these drafts pretty soon, but we're still not even close to March yet. That's crazy. Give us some time. All right, let's see what we got here. 8 picks left. Jake Berger. Oh man, Jake Berger. Don't get me started. All right, let's see what you got, Anthony. This is we're at the last part here. Got Woo Freed. Wait a minute. Where are you? Never mind. Woo Freed, Gore, King, Nola. All right, taking some chances on some injured pitchers. I see you got Nola. The discount on Nola and Musgrove could be nice values there. I like Gore still a lot. Turner, Chisholm, just Gino, Connor Griffin. All right, Connor Griffin. That could be huge. Stewart and Weatherholt. Just hog all the prospects, why don't you? And nice outfield picks. Yeah, I like a lot of your players. All right. Which New York pitcher? Weathers, Senga, Weathers. I'm gonna go Senga. Still have doubts about Weathers' ability to stay healthy, and who knows how he'll produce in the big stage. So let's take a chance and a bounce back veteran, as I kept talking about. He'd be honest and being honest. Look, your pitchers are, again, the end of your rotation is a little risky, but I just said you've got to take risks in best ball. You don't want safe. And I love that you took Weatherholt. That's a great pick. Sal Stewart, I was going to take him. You got him, earlier than I could pull the trigger. But yeah, the only pick I don't like that I wouldn't have made maybe is like Harrison Bader. He's just okay. But I mean, that's your like pick 200. It's not a big deal. So, all right. Well, let's see if this pays off. I mean, $5. Very low risk. I'm going to get into also next time we'll do a dinger, which is $15. And so we'll try some more best ball. That's it. That was pretty quick, man, for a draft. Not even an hour. I went with, let me see. Make me switch it up here again. My final roster, I'll show you what it is. Here, no, wrong one. Hold on, let me close the draft board here. All right, so I wound up 7-7-6. I got 7 pitchers, I got 7 infielders, and I got 6 outfielders. There it is. And so my team here got Skeens, which I won't do most drafts necessarily, but he stuck out to me there. Got him right at ADP. Got Cease, Bradish, Yuri, Pepio, McClanahan, Singh. I got 5. Okay, well, I got an ace, a guy who I think still is borderline ace. 3, my favorite breakout candidates, guys who could, I think, be huge. And then 2 bounce back candidates. Late, taking risk there, but calculated risk. Infield is, I mean, really, I just went straight up power here. Just all power bats. Cal Raleigh, Ketel Marte, Torque, Goodman, Perez, Manzardo. I think some pretty cheap power there. And then Polanco, I think like a great steal. And outfield, like I'm banking on guys like Soto, Springer, and Stowers to really be the mainstays all season. Caglione is my breakout candidate. Laureano just felt like it was a good value. Walker is the dice roll. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But again, you need someone to have a huge, unexpectedly huge season. You need to break out or anything like that. So, all right, man. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And again, if you have not tried Underdog, check it out. It's easy. $5 gets you right there. If you want to see, you got the base hit. We just wrapped it up, and it's not going to be active too much longer. You see, it's almost full. And then the dinger, $15. That's the bigger tournament, meaning bigger prize pool. Only $15 getting in. And there's also the little MLB eliminator, which is what it sounds like, a little elimination tournament. As the season goes on, only $5 also. So we'll mix it up. We'll do a few more of these, but thank you all. Of course, check out all the videos, and I'll hopefully see y'all again live soon.